send the freshest stuff. And if a collaboration works, if how we choose collaboration, I'm gonna tell you that.
I think at the end of the day, everybody wants the same thing.
Yeah.
A good result. So if somebody on one side is saying, I don't like something, we're still on the same path. We're both trying to get to success.
Like, we don't have the 75 layers of piano. We don't have 35 layers of synths. We always try to combine elements and try to work them perfectly.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. Brodie Nero TV, the best interviews exclusively on YouTube for now. Appreciate you guys. Please subscribe, like, comment on your favorite part. We're here in the beautiful Aya Studios in Bali, Indonesia. Shout out Aya and Chuku for letting us pull up and film this stuff. I'm here with some special guests. The two, the only, the duo, Divolly and Markward. How are you guys?
Hey, hello,
Nice
hello.
to meet you, bro.
Yeah, so happy that this is happening. I was just thinking before you came here how incredible of a time it is that we're living in, to think that I can hear a dope song on Spotify, for example, find who made it on Instagram, send a DM, negotiate some stuff,
And we connect.
and you come to the other side of the world. I mean, it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it sounds like a dream, and it is a dream for our artists, like to connect like that. Nowadays, everything is available. You can hear and see all the stuff that has been working on. So we're more than blessed to be here and be your guest in your podcast.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you saying those kind words. One of you, I forget who we were talking to on Instagram, but you had said something to the effect of coming to Bali is a place that you could only dream of to come and perform, coming from Serbia, right? So tell us, like, when you knew that the possibility of coming here and playing, what was going through your minds?
We will both answer it. So.
I mean, I didn't believe, when Marco told me, because Marco spoke with you over the Instagram.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, no way, man. No way.
He didn't believe, like when we entered the plane from Dubai to Bali, that's the time when he said, okay, this is really happening.
Wow.
Because for artists like us, like from Belgrade, Serbia, it's, if people don't know, that is a Balkan region country. It has really small amount of people that is actually doing the Afro house music or like electronic music. There is so small amount of people, really.
Yeah.
Like we can count it on two hands.
Yeah.
That are doing this like really professionally, on the standard. So we are more than blessed to be here on Bali, and visiting a country like this and meeting people like you is a dream for us.
Yeah, nice.
We really enjoy.
Yeah, cool. That being said, so we spoke a few moments before we started recording how there's not a ton of, let's say, big or famous artists coming from Serbia. And that being said, knowing that you guys are having the success that you're having, kind of, I don't know, let's say leading the culture or representing your culture and your country.
One of the few, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you feel like? What sort of things go through your mind and spirit? Like, do you feel like a sense of responsibility? Are there any elements of, let's say, patriotic and proud to represent and lead? Like, what do you feel when you think of that?
Well, we do our stuff and let the music speak for itself. So we're not really worrying about anything. We are just trying to put out what is the best for us.
Yes.
Like the music to be on a cool quality and to have cool ideas there. But as you said, there is only few of us there. Like maybe Space Motion, Ailey, and maybe Mimi from she's also a DJ and producer. But there is not a lot of us in this region that is producing Afro house music and generally this vibe, like similar to ours. We're not same like them, but that's you could put our sound into same set or a bracket.
Right. Yeah, cool.
So
cool.
we're, how do I say? I'm honored to do this, but that's the sound we feel, and that's it.
Sure.
Like we would do any other sound, but this is the sound that we choose.
Yeah, nice. Speaking about origin story, I read that before becoming a musical duo, you were already great friends and known each other for a while. Could you tell us a bit about the decision when you said, okay, we're friends and obviously there's a mutual interest in music? What was the turning point where you said, let's get serious, form a duo, and pursue a career in electronic music?
So basically, it was really easy because Marco and me met in one of the biggest festival at the time, back in Belgrade in
Belgrade Film
2000
Festival. It was
2013, 14.
yeah, 2000, yeah, 12, 13, yeah, something like that.
So we met each other there, and I invited him to come in my studio. So I played to him guys named Rolling Doors. Maybe you remember them.
From
Rolling
Flamingo
Doors.
Recordings
Flamingo,
back in
yeah.
days.
Rolling Doors, yes.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was Federal Grounds label back in days. It's called Flamingo Recordings, and he had
Okay.
an artist called Rolling Doors. I think they're from Netherlands or something like that.
Okay.
So we liked the same sound.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It was a cool energy, like tribal moments with a lot of synths and music, and it was all vibey and sexy. And
Yeah.
we were both hooked up. Since our music nowadays is tribal, sexy, and we keep it like darkish and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
And Mark was already into the DJing,
Okay.
so he showed me some festivals that he did before, and we were like, okay, let's try it together, man.
Wow.
That's how to do. And we, not so long time after that, we started we had a gig together. We still didn't have a name. It was my name, like Marco and Vlad. And
Wow.
we played the back-to-back set. People loved it. It was a really cool club in Belgrade. So, yeah, we said, why not? Let's try to take this to another level. And then 6 months, we just went to studio and started to jam.
Okay.
And
got
started
you.
to learning the process of learning there,
Yeah.
because we didn't know how to produce back then. Like we don't know even now. We need to improve ourselves each day, and we need to evolve every day. But from then, from
Yeah.
2000 and let's say 15, when we started 15, 16, when we started seriously to take this as a okay, I want to do this for the rest of my life. That's nowadays we are better.
Okay, got you. And one thing I like to focus on in this podcast is like work ethic, commitment, focus, discipline, all of this stuff. When you decided, right as that 6-month focus period was going to start, what was the work ethic like? Were you saying like, okay, we're going to be in the studio 9 a.m. every day, minimum 4 hours, we're going to do this every day? Or what did that structure look like? Because I think a lot of people, when they say they want to have, especially because it's so cool to become a DJ producer now, everybody and their grandmother wants to be one. I think people really overlook and underestimate the work ethic and commitment to becoming a full-on producer. So again, my question was, what did that work ethic look like day to day when you said we're gonna do this for real?
You know, the thing was when we started our project, we immediately started to rent a studio, and the fee monthly was like 150 euros, which
Yeah.
for us was quite huge amount because we
Yeah.
were on the college, both of us, like first year,
Yeah.
and we were kind of forced.
We weren't
To
playing
go-
music. We didn't do nothing. We said, and you said about work ethics.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting. But from the day one, we went in the studio. We said, I'm producing every day until I faint out, until I pass out from the tiredness, and then that's the work ethics we had. From the beginning, we spent in the studio. You said minimum 4 hours. No, we spent 12 hours in studio each day.
Come on.
Because we are from small country. There is nobody around us that can help us. We're on our own. So if we're gonna do something, we're gonna do music good.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that was the ethics from the start. Fully on grind, produce music, and something came up eventually.
Got you. I was reading something, and correct me if I'm wrong. It was in the bio on your Beatport, and it talked about how you were defining your sound at the time of writing the bio as a fusion of Afro house with some tech house elements. And I was curious, like, obviously when you say that, I understand the logic of blending two genres, but when you approach a song and you want to produce something, how exactly are you blending the two genres? What elements do you feel yourself taking from the tech house side, and what elements from the Afro house side?
It's definitely we need to update our bios. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely Afro house, tribal elements, and also
For
tech.
sure.
For tech, tech house has always a good kicks, I would say.
Yeah, and
Great
baselines.
kicks.
Baselines.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
bass lines are always like woo, doo, doo, doo. So
Yeah.
the bass lines are always catchy and like simplified. We don't like to overcomplicate our productions. That's the most thing. Like we don't have the 75 layers of piano. We don't have 35 layers of synths. We always try to combine elements and try to work them perfectly as small amount as possible.
Yeah, man, I love that. It
Less
actually-
is more.
Yeah, dude, it's so cool you're saying that because I interviewed Agoria maybe a week or two ago, and he was saying that less is more. You're better off finding 5 or 6 key elements, making them sound as best as possible.
That works together.
Yeah, that great
Like in
point.
harmony.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's a great point about the song. For example, one of your biggest records, All Night with Hugel, where you have a high impact song, but just a few key elements that are so strong and they sit so well together. So it makes complete sense what you're saying about clean-
Actually, that yeah, the song with Hugel is really like simple.
Yeah.
Like there is a vocals, there is that rolling tribal bass,
Yeah.
there is a kick from tech house
And trumpet shots.
and
Boom,
trumpet
boom.
shots. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
Around FX and elements, but when we sent it to Hugel, he loved it from the day one. So
Wow.
he wanted to sign it with Make the Girls Dance. He made some tweaks here and there, and
Yeah.
the track was born. Like originally, track was on 126 BPM, which was super fast for him.
Yeah.
And he said, "Let's try to make it a little bit more in
chill
my
out, chill
style."
out, yeah.
And so we did. It's 123. It's finished project. So
Cool.
we tried a few BPMs, played around, and yeah, that tracks definitely started our journey back in Afro house scene,
Yeah, well, that
Afro tribal.
Yeah. Well, that being said, another question I wanted to touch on is obviously that's a career-changing collaboration. I mean, Hugel is arguably one of the biggest artists in the world right now, certainly
For
one of the bigger ones in electronic art and electronic music and the Afro house scene. Could you tell us the story of how that collaboration came to happen? And then I'm also curious, when you go to sleep, right, and you don't have a Hugel feature, and then you wake up and you have a collaboration with Hugel, what things start to change in your life, in your career?
I mean, it's unreal. It's same like coming here to produce a record with the number one producer and artist in the world at the moment.
Yeah.
On all charts, like I Adore You, a lot of his tracks he made, like Loosen Up Now, and all the other Beatport number one every other week. I mean, it's an honor and privilege to do a track with a person like him, especially because Hugel is really humble guy and he's really cool and
Super chill, yeah.
yeah, the super chill guy, and the collaboration happened really spontaneously.
Oh, yeah?
But we sent the track to Juani. You know Juani, he's a legend,
course,
living
yeah.
legend of Make the Girls Dance.
Yeah.
And he forwarded it to Hugel. We didn't know him personally back then. And he immediately said he loved the record. He wants to play it out, test it out on the bigger stages. So he played it on Tomorrowland. It was an ID back then, like a year ago,
Yeah.
like last summer.
Yeah.
On 2024, it was an ID on all the festival, EDC, I don't know, Tomorrowland, I don't know, even a lot of festivals. And yeah, 2 or 3 months before the release, he asked us, he had some input about the track, some changes and tweaks, and about the BPM, about some stuff, arrangement. And he said, let's do this. We said, yeah, of course. I mean, you are the boss.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Especially because he's doing like 50 shows per month, and we are doing 3 shows. Of course, we're gonna respect his opinion, and
Of course.
and that's basically how it happens. Like we found out that last August that we're gonna do a collab. It should be a single track on Make the Girls Dance, but it came up as a Hugel and Friend compilation on his label, first compilation,
Cool.
together with all the cool artists, Tom Enzi and
Yeah.
others. So yeah, it turned out great, and it was definitely a career-changing moment for us
Yeah.
from then.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think the biggest benefit of having a track with Hugel
Yeah.
is we became more confident in our sound,
Yeah.
in our production.
It gave
I
us
think that's the
imprint, like you're doing something good.
yeah.
Wow, wow. So let's say going back to when you first formed this duo and saying, we're going to lock in the studio for 6 months, produce until we pass out, 12-hour days, all of this stuff. Now fast forward and you get a release with Hugel, you're starting to get on the road more. What is your work ethic and how are you managing things now? I mean, an obvious thing that a lot of DJs talk about is that once you get a big song, you get on the road, it pulls you out of the studio more than you want to be. And once you get on the road and your careers grow, your mindset starts to go from being a creative, staying inside the walls, to now being more entrepreneurial spirited and having to focus on those things. So let's say, I guess my question could be, going from focused on being in the studio for 12 hours or more sometimes, and now having to be more business minded, what's the work ethic and day to day now? Like, are you able to create as much as you want? How are you managing things?
I can say I can tell you something. You can
Let's
answer.
go, yeah.
I will tell you it's the same. You will ask how is the same, because you're always, because we are two. It's easier
Yes.
for us, you know.
Okay.
I mean, even though it's harder right now because we are on the road, of course, and we are thinking maybe too much when we are producing, comparing to when we started.
That's
you
the only
didn't have
problem.
knowledge, you didn't have anything. You just want to have fun. You know, it's different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
We're definitely, the thinking part is harder
Yeah.
to fight with your brain. Is this good? Is this enough good? Should we simplify that? Should we overcomplicate that? That's the only thing we worry about. Because I don't like when we are thinking too much, and then the projects stay for a month, 2, 3, 4, 5, even a year. Like track with Hugel, as we spoke all night, happened like really naturally. It happened in, like, we've made the idea, we mixed it one day, 3 days. 3 days we made the track. And some
Wow.
tracks that we are gonna release and that we released, because we weren't sure in the sound that we are aiming for, actually. We always know that we like Afro and tribal vibes, collaborating with the African native artists, which we did back in the days. We made Bamako, which was really cool track. It was our first big tune.
Okay.
Collaboration with Amadou and Miriam. They're famous Mali artists
Yeah.
from Africa, and that's how we knew. We always liked the tribal sound from Roland Doors back in the days. Like, we always had that influence of African tribal music like that. So we decided, yeah, that's the way we want to go. And nowadays it's really hard because we are thinking a lot to improve ourselves and always to be unique.
Wow.
But you can continue if you wanted to say something.
Cool, cool. Another interesting question that I have. So when you're in a duo, there's two people, obviously, and you talk about making decisions and workflow and stuff. Obviously, you guys have a lot of harmony and synergy because you're in a duo and you've been doing this for so long. However, when it comes to important decisions, let's say you're in a group of 5 people on a project, right? And it comes down to an important final decision. Sometimes they have something called a unanimous decision, where it's like you vote, and if 3 people or 4 people agree on something, the other person gets voted out, and that's how you make a decision. When you're in a duo, if you guys are on the same page, there's a difference of opinion. And when I ask this question, it's not because I'm curious about drama or challenging moments. I'm curious because maybe there's people in partnerships or relationships or other musical duos, and I'm curious how you guys manage making final decisions. To give an example, let's say you're deciding on a kick to put in another song, and you're saying, I really like this one. No, I like this one. It's more punchy or whatever. How are you guys managing to make these decisions and still keep that flow and that harmony together?
I mean, you nailed the question with the kick, definitely.
I mean, there is always drama, you know. When it's
Okay.
come to
People will
things
tell
like
you
this.
that, no, we are super fine. We are staying together like we are like brothers. You know, we never fight. No, that's a lie, bro. Well, of course you fight.
Yeah. So for instance, if I like something and Marco don't, he's always like, okay, show me that thing in some other track.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe-
Show me
maybe
the
that-
example when somebody used this kick the way you did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm trying to come to the senses where
Right.
where like how we gonna fit that kick in this project. It's sounding like it's overwhelming, you know, it's or
Yeah.
underwhelming. So there is always a fight, but there is always a we're friends before this. There is always a talk after that. So we talk, we figure out the details, and when we are fighting so much, we say if one of us don't like it, we won't put
Yeah.
it. That's
okay.
the basis, the end basis of our fights.
Oh, wow.
So we don't put it. If we don't like the gig where we're gonna play, he don't like, I like, we don't play.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's just a general
Yeah.
agreement you have between
Everything
each
is
other,
50.
and you honor that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And almost all those fights lead us to the good.
Of
good,
course.
Good, yeah, good
To the
destination,
to
yeah.
good destination to it always lead us the good path, you know.
Yeah.
So usually when one of us is not feeling something is like something is wrong in our gut or stomach, how you say, definitely we won't do it because we talk, we give each other's opinions,
Yeah.
and then we decide.
Yeah, that's great because I think at the end of the day, everybody wants the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A good result. So if somebody on one side is saying, I don't like something, we're still on the same path. We're both trying to get to success.
Yeah.
Right? So I guess it's great. It's a really great, mature, and responsible perspective to sit there and say, we're going to work through this even if there is a little bit of friction or turbulence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is always a friction in duo. When you produce yourself, you have a team of people or friends around you that produce for you.
Yeah.
But we both fight for ourselves here, you know. But we are a duo. But
Yeah.
but at the end we are both artists. We both produce. We both stay on social medias. We both think of our branding, processing, and all the
Yeah.
projects. So it's harder when you're a duo than you are alone to come up with some solutions which you would come as your own. You know, when you come to studio, I said I like this kick, I will put it. And when we come, I said I like this, and he likes that, and we go to third option. You know, and that
Yeah.
comes that involve our thinking and our perspective in other ways and lead us to other like destinations. You know.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. I was curious. So, riding off of the success of All Night, I was speaking about this in a previous podcast today, actually, about riding off the momentum. Sometimes people get a little bit of success and they think, okay, I'm good now, I'm chilling. Did you guys find yourself wanting to work harder and get more serious when you had the release with Hugel? And then what did that like look like? What was your mindset? Did you say we have to put more time in the studio, we need to get more songs out? What was the thought process post release?
I mean, we are like. I mean, it was huge inspiration for the work, definitely, and I mean, we have lined up like 10 releases in the future.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
So-
definitely it was a motivation for us to push even harder.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
stuff like this don't happen for everybody.
Facts. Yeah.
Yeah.
True. True.
And we are in that small amount of people that happen to us, and we're definitely grateful and very excited about the future. Since that collaboration and that opening of the doors, like Juani is doing, I just want to say this moment, I want to say to Juani, he's doing a really great job with the label, helping Hugel and being his right arm there. Like he opened the doors for us to the label, like nobody else did before. He's always so welcoming. He's always check our demos. He always have time to put the input, to tell us the input about the track, what we need to do, if we need to do something. Like that is what I want from the label, to be there with us and go through our journey and understand the tracks that we are producing. So back to your question, how was the work ethics and everything? We are already working always the same, always hard. When we are on road, of course less, but when we are back in our studio in Belgrade, we are locked in, like
Yeah.
deliveries, pizza, we
Yeah.
produce, and that's it.
Wow. And I think you said just in 2025 alone now, you're already at 6 or 7 releases? Is that true? Already this year?
Yeah, we have signed I think around 10 records for this year already lined up.
Okay,
all
got you.
together. But now we released 4 tracks.
Four tracks so far.
And yesterday was the release of our track Mombasa, together with Aaron Sevilla and Jerry Ropero.
Wow.
And it's already like charting somewhere. We didn't still manage from all the road. We had to come to Bali, like 24-hour road. We
Yeah.
didn't check everything, but we are super excited about this release. And see Aaron is playing it at High Ibiza and all the other festivals.
What a dream, man.
Like it's always a pleasure to see your music that come up from your studios
Yeah.
on a big stages and in the big clubs like High Ibiza, all the Ibiza clubs and
Yeah.
festivals. Yeah, it's a dream.
Cool, cool. Well, congrats on that. It's huge.
Thank you.
Speaking about collaboration and managing it, I mean, obviously it's 2025. So much stuff can be done remotely, and I'm sure a lot of it is for you guys. We spoke about how you guys manage collaboration and your opinions and disagreements. When it comes to collaborating with another successful artist like Aaron Sevilla, how do you manage your input and your desires for a song, but also be respectful of his? Like, say, for example, he sends over 5 stems and the song is organized in a certain way, and you're like, oh, I think I want to put a drop here, and then there's an opposition. How do you manage the disagreements in that situation?
You know, we
Or
always
if there are any?
yeah, we always like to
There is always.
yeah.
The Balkan's so aggressive.
Yeah. When it's come to the collaborations, we always like to make like 60% of the track. You know, so basically we are already making not
He can
Fu-
already see the skeleton.
Yeah,
The skeleton
yeah,
of the
yeah,
track.
the
right?
construction of the whole track.
construction.
we are like to make the main idea for the track and then
Cool.
send stems away. So
And when we receive the track, and we also for the collaboration, we also expect the same, or like
okay.
that main hook, or have something we can work on. We don't like to do collaboration where artists do a whole track, and then send us, and then we put our names. No,
Yeah.
but we always like to put our to have our input in the
Yeah.
track.
Got
and
it.
so people can hear what we did and what he did. For example, latest collaboration that we did with Dan Tanev, the Bulgarian producer, like I must say he's super talented guy, and I can't wait for you guys to hear the tracks from us. We did 2 tracks with him. We sent him the idea, like the structure, and then he sent us also the structure of his idea, and
Yeah.
we finished like both tracks in 7 days.
Whoa.
So basically, we clicked like easily, and we finished the tracks easily. That's when somebody match your energy. It's super easy. Like we didn't know him back in the day. We just chatted on Instagram, like you said,
Wow.
and we were supporting his track. He is supporting our tracks, and that's how we came to a conversation. And we said we definitely need to do something, and so we did. And yeah. It's super excited. I'm gonna play you after so you can hear it.
Oh, cool, cool. So it sounds like the gem of wisdom I got there is when you want to collaborate with another artist, don't send something that's too overdone. Maybe 60, 70%.
Or something that you're not satisfied fully with.
Yeah.
So people sometimes send the collaboration when they're not satisfied with it.
Ah,
Send something that is best from your heart. Send something that you really feel at the moment. Don't send some old project like back in the month when you were like doing something. Send the freshest stuff. And if a collaboration works, how we choose collaboration, I'm gonna tell you that. If we see somebody on the track already when we started producing, like his vision, we see it on our track. So we send him as a collaboration. If he doesn't want to do it, it's okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna finish it as our solo track. But if he wants to do it, I think with our vision of him being on the track always become really good.
cool, cool. Very nice. Switching lanes now, talking about DJing and performance. This community on my YouTube channel, there's a ton of like up and coming artists DJs just starting out, producers just starting out. One thing I want to touch on for the DJs that are just starting out is gig preparation. And a common thing that a lot of DJs say is that a lot of them have no preparation because they know their music really well and they want to adapt to the crowd. I was curious, what's your guys' thought process? Let's say, for example, when you know you're coming to play Miss Fish tonight. Shameless plug, shout out Miss Fish, Bali. What's your thought process getting ready for a gig like that? New country, new venue. Well, you saw it last night because you were there chilling for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely like to feel the energy and atmosphere of the club to go there a little bit earlier. But usually we have a folder with 100 tracks and all sorted with the key BPMs. We another player with acapellas, another player with loops and uplifters and risers and stuff like that.
Nice.
So we organize our set, and it's always a fight when we organize our set.
Yeah, always.
Because I like to be more driving, darkish, sexy, and stuff like that, a little bit more undergroundish.
Yeah.
And he likes to be more like uplifting, happy, sexy, you know.
Yeah.
And then we meet in the middle. So you will hear in our sets always like we have that moment of pure clubbing experience, and we have that moment of bringing the mainstream moment to the club or to the venue.
For me, that sounds like the yin and the yang.
It
you
is.
know,
Yeah,
like
it
it's
is,
the
yeah.
beauty and the chaos.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful balance because, again, we speak about this stuff. Obviously, talking to a lot of DJs on the podcast is that you can't just always be pumping the whole time when you're playing a set, and you also can't be all euphoric and like
No, you
too
cannot
light
be
and
too
chill.
light, happy, and chill. You cannot be too dark, and you have to see the crowd. You have to feel the energy of the club. You have to see, is the girl dancing? Is this guy drinking, or he's just sitting at the table? Is he jamming? Like we are watching. We were DJs before we were producers, so we are watching the energy levels in the club, and we decide what we're gonna do and what we're gonna play.
Cool.
But it's always hard when we are preparing because we are two again. We are fighting. Oh, shoot. People won't even know that we played this record, but we can fight over like half an hour over one record to put it in the set or not. and in the end, we don't put it because we don't agree, both of us.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's the story about producing. That's about making the set. So for up and coming artists, I suggest you prepare the music you want to spin, that you like to spin, not the music that is cool, that you like to spin, and go with the flow of the club.
Amazing. No, it's a great mindset and approach. Talking about a huge thing, social media, and the importance of it and how it advances your career and how you can have great music, but if your social media presence is weak, you're sitting on goods that no one's going to be able to hear and get the exposure that you need for it. Leading up to this trip, you and I coordinated getting some content done, and it was a big important thing for you guys to do that while you're here. Could you tell us a little bit about your guys' thought process and approach to social media marketing for your music career?
I think that's your part, definitely.
Since I'm doing that part for us,
Yeah.
thinking about that and everything, it's very hard nowadays because you have to think about content more than your music, I would say.
I mean, it's a 50-50. Both sides are really
people would say it's 50-50, it's important, but I think DJs that are bigger than us and the producer, they're thinking more of the angle of the shot than the track they played, I would say.
Wow.
I would say that.
I mean,
It's maybe controversial, but
it is controversial, and we've had a lot of moments like this on the podcast, to be honest, and I think it's a good conversation. I think both sides have valid points, and
they're both important. I wouldn't say the
sure.
music is not important.
Right.
Far from that.
Right.
But it's more important how we will present it than actually the moment in the club where there's going to be 500, 400, 600 people.
Yeah.
Because your stories will be maybe some of them viral, going to see millions of people.
Yeah.
And you have to be careful about everything.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we are into that, but I always care about both things. But nowadays, I think people think like it's more important to have a good visual. I mean, to good footage, be in the club or anything, than to like
Yeah.
be a good look for Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we're living in this natural evolution and progression of life and technology. And I think the argument from some of the old school guys is that, man, back in the day, it was all about the music. Well, of course, it was all about the music because we had phones that were connected by cords at home and nobody had their own phone line.
The music was the only thing you could do at the club.
Yeah, it's the only thing you could do at the club. And now we're living in a time where there's endless, limitless digital connection at our fingertips, in our pockets, or even in our hands all the time. Like I caught myself last night in Miss Fish. My phone was just in my hand for an hour. I'm like, why am I hanging on to it like someone's about to call me or something like that, you know? So again, I think it's equally important 50-50. And I think it's just some of the old school guys, not to take away from them because the old school is what makes the new school, but we're in this natural evolution. So to sit here and say that social media doesn't hold significant importance is a bit naive and a bit ignorant because again, if you have great music and you want to get this music to the world, what are you going to send people a letter or put an advertisement in the newspaper?
You're
No, you're
going
going
to
to
put
make a
the USB
post.
in the letter, and what you're going to do. Of course, I 100% agree. 50-50 is the way to go.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I suggest to up-and-coming artists to make content, to make their songs more interesting through the content.
Yes.
And that's the way maybe some cool environment, cool studio, cool sightseeing place in your country or city.
Yeah.
Like do something that is interesting beside music, because attention span of people nowadays is coming to 10 seconds, 5 seconds or less. I don't know, I'm not a psychologist or anything, but it's really small, and you have to be interesting in first 1, 2, 3 seconds, unless you will go to swipe to another creator.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What's something that you guys haven't accomplished yet, like a real big goal that's going to stretch you, far-fetched, way out there? And what's it going to take for you guys to achieve it? Could be personal, could be music, could be individual to each of you.
Well, I would say my goal is always to have a Grammy award,
Wow.
and to produce the music for a movie.
Nice.
Yeah,
Cool. Scoring
that's
movies.
what I always, or series, or something similar to a film production and a video production. But that is really like always. You could say I want to have a Beatport #1. We never had a Beatport #1 so far. We had
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Maybe this year, maybe next year, we will see.
Yeah.
We had number 10 with Hugel on All Night. It was
Yeah.
super success for us. So
Yeah.
definitely like that small stuff to play on the big festivals. But from the big stuff that I consider myself big, all of them are big. But
Yeah.
I consider like winning a Grammy for your song for the electronic act is really cool.
Yeah.
Also, my dream when I was a little kid is to produce a tune that will win on Eurovision contest of the. I don't know if you heard about it. It's like Eurovision is a contest of songs from each country of Europe and Australia, and they are
okay.
competing to the best pop song in the contest. So
Nice.
yeah, that was one of my child dreams to produce a record for some artists and do that. Yeah,
I love it.
So we're gonna pursue that in the future. Let's see.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
let's go. And for
I mean,
yourself, bro.
Yeah, mine definitely Grammy,
Yeah.
of course, and
Nice.
Beatport #1, which will be in the future,
Yes.
in close future.
Cool.
And and another one is collaborations with the guys like Burna Boy, Mr. Easy, and that's kind of because they're doing like Afro
Yes.
dancehall-ish kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So that would be like 3 goals for the future.
Cool. Cool.
But not trying to accommodate in their way, but more to have like a really natural collaboration in our style,
Yeah.
where they would be a featuring artist, like not to go to produce produce pop song, no, more like to have an interesting Afro tribal organic tune where their vocals would fit.
Right.
So we would bring the instrumental and the vibe, and we would look for a featuring artist,
Okay, I
not
got
the
you.
other way around.
Got you. And then, so we got the personal goals here. So let's say, so giving it some context and some like real planning and discipline and sacrifice. So when you think about winning a Grammy or you think about huge collaborations like that, Burna Boy, etc., what do you think work ethic wise it's going to take to accomplish something like that?
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know yet, but definitely to have a collaboration with all those guys, you have to have a hit before you start to
More hit
communicate with them.
records.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be a more experienced producer. You have to go to studios. You have to meet people. You have to share the ideas. You have to like talk, a lot of talking, a lot of listening to music, so you can evolve as a producer. Because as I said, nobody knows everything.
Yeah.
We all learn all the time, and you just need to stay humble, stay positive, open the doors. Sometimes knock on the wrong doors, but you still open it, go head through the wall, and that's it. Like, you have to push, you have to hustle, you have to grind, and that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Possibly that will bring you to the places where you want to be.
Yeah, sounds like it. And I think a lot of times, as you said, like even for example, like a song coming together, like All Night, one of your biggest records, was quite a natural process with no force, happened in a few days. And I think when you think about big goals and stuff like that, it's hard to think of exact pathways of getting there.
Of course.
But you're showing up every day, you're doing what feels right in your heart and your soul, and you're pursuing greatness.
You just do what you do, and eventually, if you are doing it good, it will come to a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well said. Another sort of debated topic that I have on the podcast is release schedule and frequency. So we're about halfway through 2025. You said you guys have 3 or 4 songs out already, several more on the calendar for this year. Is that enough music? Should there be more? Should there be less? Should you be releasing bi-weekly? Is monthly minimum mandatory? What do you guys think?
I think it's from artist to artist, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's artist to artist.
And what you want to achieve and what
Yeah.
you want to do.
Yeah.
So if you want to be cool, I have a track. Okay, release 1 track per year. I mean, and if you want to hustle, you want to grind, it's easy. You go
Yeah.
to Beatport, you go to top 10 selling labels, you send them each tracks.
Yeah.
And that's the way to go. If you want to go up, like, produce a better track than top 10 selling on Beatport. That's our suggestion. So if you want to sign to up and coming producers, I'm talking to you guys, and to producers like us, we're also up and coming. Go to Beatport, see the label. So for instance, let's say Make the Girls Dance, shout out. Go to top selling tracks. Produce a better track, but be honest. Produce a better track. Be honest about it if it's really better track than theirs, and then go to club, play it, and then send it to the label, and then you will see what will happen.
Easy,
Right.
right?
That's our mentality. That's
Yeah.
how we thought about why would Make the Girls Dance or Mo Black or Deep Roots Tribes by Francis Mercier or any other label. Why would they sign us? They would sign us if we have a good record. When we have a good record, we're gonna see what they are doing on their Beatport or their Spotify, and we're gonna try to produce better. I think that's the only way.
Yeah.
Produce a better track, and then labels will fight over you, or make a hype around the track, and then sell it to the labels. That's also a way to go. Like, there is 2 different ways. You can fight other producers, like try to produce a better track, or you can try to create a hype around your track through the socials, Instagrams, TikToks, have a content creators around, and try to go to that label contacts you about that track. That is 2 possible ways of, I think, signing a track nowadays in 2025.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think what I got here from you is like produce as much as you want, submit demos as much as you want. But in terms of the personal, the individual, or in this case, the duo, the artist release schedule, do you think that there's a minimum you should be releasing per year or a maximum? Because let's say as a fan, you release a hot song last Friday. I'm enjoying it. I'm playing it every day. I don't want to stop playing it. But then, boom, next Friday you drop another one on me. I'm like, okay, cool. Now I got 2 songs, and then you keep releasing. Do you think that there's um, an excessive amount, like it doesn't give enough time between songs to breathe and to allow the fans to consume them and appreciate them?
I would definitely agree, but producers also like watch what how the song is performing, and but it's also hard to plan nowadays because labels are, especially if you are signing on a big labels like let's say Afro House labels, they have a schedule running. Juani also said in your podcast, like running 6 months
In
in
the
forward.
next year,
In the
already.
next year already. So it's kind of hard to plan it out.
Right.
You have to
Yes.
wait for a label to answer, and you
Yeah.
have to set up the release, and they give you 6 months date, and then what I would suggest to up and coming producers is to make their own label
Yeah.
and start
yeah.
releasing and putting. If you are over excessive, like if you don't have any slot, for instance, I would say Make the Girls Dance probably don't have any slots until the end of this year.
For sure.
Yeah, so you have to line up your stuff early. You
Yeah.
have to hope that your sound will turn out good, but even in 6 months, because it's changing drastically.
Yeah.
Like now this is popular, in 6 months something will be you have to think ahead. you know?
Yeah. No,
So-
it's interesting to hear. Sorry to interrupt. Just because I've heard both ends of the spectrum so extremely. So like, Demo, for example, Demo BG, who I had on the podcast. I think it was like February or March, and at that time, bro had out like 6 songs already within like the first 6 weeks of the year. And he's like, bro, if you make something, you finish it, get it out, get it
Yeah.
signed, push, because
Totally
he
agree.
felt that Spotify seems to favor from the algorithm people that are releasing consistently and
100%.
frequently. And it's
100%.
like if you leave months gap in between the releases, you're watching like your monthly listeners, everything
Yep.
drop. So I was just curious your guys' thought process.
We agree 100%.
Yeah.
It's not only Spotify, it's YouTube, it's Instagram.
Right.
They want us to spend more time on their
And they want
socials.
more content,
More content,
yeah.
more songs. So would I say is it a good amount? What is a good amount? We don't know. We're doing our stuff.
Yeah.
We try to do one per month.
Yeah.
If
And
it's possible
two,
with planning.
two.
Yeah.
And now this month we have 2. We have a
Nice.
track Mombasa came out yesterday.
Yeah.
With Aaron and Jerry Ropero.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the track in 7 days on Aaron Sevilla other label, Sunset Gathering, where we're gonna release our track by Lahore. So we have 2 this month. Next
Wow.
month we have also 2. After that we have 1. No, it's also 2 July, 2 August.
He was right, yeah.
1 September, or 2 October so far. Yeah, so it's crazy.
Yeah, you know what? It actually, I think I've pulled my thoughts together because, again, there's like some old school artists or ones that really preserve the art saying that you shouldn't release so much because you need time for the project to breathe and the fans to consume it. But when you think of the point you said where the attention span of people these days is like a goldfish, 5 to 10 seconds, does a fan or a music listener really need 3 months to listen to one song? Hell no. They want something fresh every week maybe.
Yeah.
So, and there's an artist, a rapper, Russ, from the States, and he's big on independence. And the way that Russ blew up was he, for 6 months, worked on a bunch of songs, and he put a new song out. This is when SoundCloud was just getting going. He put a new song out every single week for a year and a half. It was like 96 weeks or something like that, straight, a new song every week. And this is how he cracked the SoundCloud algorithm and blew up. And I was watching a podcast with him recently the other day, and he said if he could start over in if he had to start over in 2025, the minimum he would do is 2 releases per month.
Yeah, we would agree with that.
Yeah.
That's what we are doing at the moment, and it's not overwhelming for us.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
can fit everything. We can produce ourselves everything. So
Cool.
yeah,
Cool.
I mean, it's not a big hustle to do 2 tracks per month.
True. Nice.
For us.
Sounds like the new industry standard.
Let's say
It
2
is.
tracks, 2
Yeah.
tracks,
Definitely.
two tracks per month. If you are within some genre, Afro house, tech house,
Cool.
indie dance, Do
Nice.
2 tracks and push out your content. Do 1 track on the beginning of the month and 1 track at the end of the month.
Love it.
Next time on the middle of the month and on the end. So you have always that span of 2 weeks for breathing of the track, as you
Yes.
said, and promotion. And you see the DJ supporting you. You're gonna put that on social. I don't like to interfere few tracks in the same time. It's kind of like you. I would say you are as good as your last track is.
It is
I would say.
true.
Love it. Love it.
And
Cool,
the thing
guys.
is, we are really confident in all those tracks that is coming out.
That we
Which is-
produce like
yeah.
like let's say the 10 tracks are coming out, we produce our 50 probably, but only 10 will come
Yeah.
out that we are satisfied with
Wow.
in the last, let's say, 1 year.
Yeah, but yeah.
Cool. Crazy work ethic, guys. I salute you. Well, as we work our way towards the end of the podcast, there's one question I always ask at the end, and usually it's 3, but I'll ask because you're a duo, 2 each. So if you can envision, let's say going back, well, you still live in Serbia, but back to the local days where you got your local residencies, maybe you've signed a couple of records to local record labels, indie style, nothing big yet, no Hugel feature, anything like that. Dreams of going from local to global, international success. 2 gems of wisdom and advice to up and coming talent that you could offer for them to go from local to global.
Enjoy the process, definitely. Have fun, and I mean,
Love your music.
yeah. I mean, love your music, love yourself first, on the first place.
I would say the same. Love yourself. Keep pushing. Keep hustling. Keep grinding. Don't step on the dead bodies to achieve your goals. And work hard.
Cool.
That's it.
Love it. Guys, what a pleasure. Again, just full circle moment thinking of hearing a sick song, connecting on IG, and now here in Bali, Indonesia, having you
Man.
perform at Miss Fish tonight.
I told
It's
you.
going to be
even-
awesome.
I told you even yesterday. It feels like a dream to us still to meeting you from
Yeah.
Instagram. You said you love our track
Yeah.
all night. After that, you heard some of our tracks that are coming this year.
Yeah.
You said you love them. You play them. So it's an honor to consider you a friend now and to have a friend in Bali here. And we're excited about our show in Miss Fish Bali tonight. So
Nice.
yeah,
Super grateful, and
Yeah.
thank you for
for the
all this.
invitation and thank you for the
course.
podcast.
My pleasure. Appreciate it, guys. Guys, you know what's up. Please subscribe to the channel, Brodie Nero TV. Like, comment. We'll see you in the next episode. Peace.